You're watching live here from Austin, Texas at Polar Bear Stadium, where tonight your Navarro Panthers take on the Austin Achieve Polar Bears. Stay tuned for the Panther football pregame show next. You're watching Panther football here live on the Navarro Panther Network, powered by the Panther Posse.
Texas State University or LSU, and his mayor will be graphic or fashion design. His best memory of football.
All right, we're back.
All right, we're back. Hey, Lance Blackburn here, play-by-play guy for the night, and I'm here with Hank Dieter, voice of the Panthers. We'll be doing our analysis, and we are in Austin, Texas here at Polar Bear Stadium on the campus of Austin Achieve. So tonight it's way different weather than we've seen all year, folks, and 61 degrees.
Polar bear weather.
Yeah, that's right, polar bear weather.
Not really.
And I tell you what, it says winds out of the northwest from 11 miles an hour. But, man, if you're here at the stadium, it feels a lot colder than 61 and 11-mile-an-hour winds. So, and the wind will probably have a little bit of an effect on tonight's game, although if you've never been here to Polar Bear Stadium, it is inside, literally sits in between the entire campus of the high school here, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, it is. Kind of is.
Yeah. You know, I remember last year we kicked field goals, Hank, or extra points, and Monkerud was kicking them on the roof over there.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that was, because he was getting it over there. There's a net behind him, but it doesn't seem to be high enough.
Right. So let's jump into what's been happening here with Navarro Panther football. The Panthers are 4-4, 2-1 in district. Sitting in second place, a solid second place, and they're playing Austin Achieve tonight, who is 2-5 and 0-3 in district. And so we're coming off a tough loss out in Wimberley, where the Texans got the little bit better of us, but not by much. It was a 21-14 loss, and me and Hank are fairly confident we could see those folks again, possibly, But yeah, the Panthers, last week, Hank, played a great game, I thought, for the most part.
Right.
But we came up short. Penalties really hurt us. And, that costly turnover there at the very end of the game where it was a rough exchange between Nall and Colton Chambers. But
and they had that chance,
we did.
And I talked to Coach Blunt tonight earlier, and you'll hear it on the interview, but I thought the pass defense was phenomenal, with overall for the Panthers that game, and I think when we talked earlier in the week, it was that Coach Warren had mentioned that that it changed their game plan. They were wanting to pass a little more against this Wimberley, that is.
That's right.
And they had to go mostly to the run.
They did, and Wimberley has ran the ball better this year than probably they have in a number of years because they've always relied a lot on the pass. And you're right, the secondary and the defense, I felt like played a good enough game there, holding Wimberley to 21 points on their home field.
Right.
But we just, we punted 7 straight times. It was a little bit rough, but the thing is, we had a chance there with 2.5 minutes left, with the ball about just short of the 50.
Right.
And our defense came up big, but hey, it is what it is, and we're here at Austin Achieve here tonight, and we'll see what happens. But the Panthers, and we talked about this a little bit earlier here tonight. The Panthers are now averaging about 6 yards per carry.
Yeah.
So, a lot of teams would love to do that. Probably on the downside, the big thing that's hurt us this year has been the fumbles in the turnovers.
Right.
We've only thrown 1 interception, but the fumbles at 14 has probably been a little bit of the downside. So,
yeah.
But on the upside, the defense has 16 sacks, and I've looked through all of our opponents, and I think outside of maybe one other opponent that we faced all year, 16 sacks is pretty nice. I mean, we've had
put a lot of pressure. I mean,
we have.
When we talked about Staub and Laga Vista, that a good dual threat quarterback, Stover for Wimberley, good, and the Panthers made them feel uncomfortable because that's what you do with other teams. Your defense is, but by pressuring and make them do things that they don't like to do. And I think the defense, by putting that kind of pressure up front, and Bo Brumley's been a big part of that charge, along with,
Landon Taylor on the other side.
Yeah, and the defensive end's been doing great. And even, our nose, when you talk about Houston Berry up there, one of the defensive tackles and all being
Richardson.
up there. Richardson. I mean,
Gomez,
as a group, as a group, you see them do very well. And I think that has a lot to do with the coaches by rotating them. We always talk about that too, rotating that defensive line, because you use a lot of energy because you're trying to fight your way through. It's like a heavyweight bout. You're going through, and you're using every muscle in your body to get through there, and you use a lot of energy. It's a little different for defensive backs and linebackers. Yeah, they're running around and using, a little energy on that, but they don't have to use almost every, a muscle in their body to get through to get to the quarterback. So I always feel like that's been a great job this year by the coaching staff to rotate those players in, and it shows. You know, it really shows.
Well, and the other thing that the Panthers have done well in the past, even though we lost last week, we had won a couple of games there, and the backfield, you look at Mabane being back. He's now our leading rusher with 7 touchdowns. Chambers ran really, really solid last week. I think he had 127 yards. But again, getting those collective backfield back. Chapa hit the hole. He was very effective in the first half. Last week, hitting the hole very, very quick. I mean, churning out 8-10 yards a carry.
Right. And what I talked about too is that, is the Panthers are able to move the ball, pretty much in between the 20s, but really couldn't get it going, once to get into the red zone and punch it in. So, I talked a little bit about that with Coach Blunt too here that you're going to hear a little later. But you're right, Lance. The Chapa gets in there and he hits the hole so hard. He's going 100 miles an hour by the time he hits that line of scrimmage, and the offensive line has been able to get him some creases, and that has to happen in that slot T. Like I said, it doesn't have to be much room.
That's right.
Just get him a crease, and he can go.
That's right. So the Panthers, we've got this game tonight. We'll go back home next week to play Maynard New Tech. And so we're sitting well right now, and we'll see what happens, and we'll talk about this throughout the broadcast tonight. But we're sitting in second place right now. We've beaten Laga Vista, who's sitting at third. And then Gerald's probably sitting around, fourth. But, the interesting part of it is tonight, Wimberley travels to Laga Vista. We feel that we're here in Austin. We feel this stiff north wind, which, I don't know how much that's going to affect the game over there. But it is something that you're going to have to deal with. And you never know, right? And then, and then the other part of it, Hank, is next week, Laga Vista is going to have to go to Jarrell.
Right.
And we all know Jarrell is, they've got some athletes. You never know what's going to happen,
they're
right?
They're the Jekyll and Hyde team. You never know which team's going to. We saw that from one half to a second half when we played them.
Yeah.
And so, you never know how it's going to play out. But I see us either Panthers being, tied for first if Laga Vista can upset Wimberley, or we take second. I mean, that's the way I see it for us. So, as the other teams behind us, I don't really care. But, we want to see what happens, with that game tonight between Laga Vista and Wimberley. We'll be watching that and all. But I think we'll get ready here, and we'll bring Scott Kibbe in, if that's all right, Lance. And we'll get that going. And I'll get him the headset here once you get that on, Scott. And, hey, you see us on film now. Hey, I don't know. I've got the face for radio here, and I don't know if it's so much for TV. Scott, thanks for joining us this evening.
You bet.
Okay, let me get you back up here. Let me make sure you're on. All right, go ahead and try it again there.
All right, can you hear me?
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, all right, Scott, so you got some fun facts for us tonight?
All right, our fun fact for the night is the Navarro Panthers all-time are 6-0 in Travis County. They have never lost in Travis County. I don't think this will happen tonight, but they should have played here in 2003. That would have been the first time against Hyde Park. Hyde Park canceled on a home because Navarro beat them so bad in 2002, so they didn't play them. So the first time they played here was in Manor against Liberty Hill in one of the great games for every Panther fan to remember, and the Panthers pulled that one out, that 21-20 game out over Liberty Hill. They've beaten Manor New Tech, Austin Chief here. They beat Eastside Memorial and Lago Vista. And am I missing one? That's 5. I had 6-0, but St. Michael's. St. Michael's.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Wow.
So Travis County's been good to them. So.
Wow.
Well, we hope that streak continues and all. Tonight, do you see? What do you see tonight as far as some of your predictions? What we see what the Panthers do? I know the level of competition with the Polar Bears a lot lower than what the Panthers are used to. So I'm assuming that Panthers are going to do a few things different tonight.
I think first fundamentals. They talking to Coach Blunt last week. They've got to work on those. Obviously, tackling was the big story last week. So I think that's where you focus. The other thing is it's a good chance to work some new things in, because you've got a couple of weeks to work on them. Manor New Tech again next week will be similar to this. Your first round opponent should not be it's as tough as a lot of teams we played. Maybe not the second round. I'll have to see how the brackets shake out. So you've got a little time. Most people are going to be thinking you're going to be playing Wimberley again. I think Lago Vista will have something to say about that on either way, but there's a very good chance. So you got to be thinking about what do we need to do? What do we need to work on against them that didn't work last week? I would be looking for some wrinkles in the offense, a little more passing. I thought in practice we saw him running a little shotgun, so maybe that's what.
That's right.
Maybe that's coming. I think would be great. Spread the field for Mebane. Really got to get him in space. So it'll be fun to watch. Kind of what they put together this week. Right.
Well, that's great to hear, and I hope we do see a few different things. I know we'll probably see a couple of different wrinkles tonight that the Panthers have practiced on. I know Lance has some insight to that as well about what we might see. So what do you think, Lance?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is I think you said it best. I mean, you got 2 weeks to prepare for the playoffs. I'm not sure exactly what they did this week, not to let too much of the cat out of the bag.
Right.
But
exactly.
I'm sure Wimberley. You never know when Wimberley's over here or Laga Vista's. Probably not watching our broadcast, but yeah, they put some new wrinkles in for sure, and let's see if they break them out, for the playoffs or for emergency situations. Last time we kind of saw the Panthers break out of their shell, me and Hank talked about it, was Cuero last year at home when we were kind of driving. We had about 49 seconds or something left, and then we drove down and scored with kicked a field goal with, 11 seconds left. The controversial clock game, I guess, if you're on the Cuero side, right? But that's when we saw kind of some different things, right, from the Panthers, and it worked. I mean, Cuero was completely caught off guard.
Yeah,
right?
we might see that. We might see that.
So.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Scott Kibbe. We really appreciate you joining us here this evening, and we'll look forward to. Will you have anything in the Seguin Gazette this Sunday for us on what happened in this game?
Yes, we'll have a story on this.
Okay. So we'll look for Scott Kibbe's article in the Seguin Gazette. Remember, he's our statistician and historian for the Navarro Panthers. Been doing it for over 30 years now. So thank you for doing all this.
Okay. You betcha.
All right. We'll see you later. You got to go all the way to the other side.
Oh yeah, long walk over there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. All right, so I think we're going to jump into Coach Blunt and his pregame interview here with Hank Dietrich. So,
all right. Well, good evening. This is Hank Dietrich with the Navarro Panther Network. Down on the field with Coach Rod Blunt, the head coach of the Navarro Panthers. Coach, thank you for joining us this evening.
I appreciate you having us and promoting our program.
All right, Coach. Tonight you come in 2-1 in district play. You're playing the Austin Chief Polar Bears, and I know that they have not had much success here, coming in 0-3 for district play. But what are your concerns coming into this game with that team?
They have a really good quarterback. He throws a great deep ball. Got a couple of receivers that can go up and get it. So we got to make sure we stay on point, not to give up the big play to them.
All right, Coach. Now also, you look at your offense from last week in Wimberley. You did good enough, it seemed like, between the 20s, and you got a couple of big plays from Chambers and Mabane going in twice into the end zone. So what does your offense have to do tonight to carry some of that over and punch it in, so to speak, in the end zone?
Yes, sir. We just want to be more consistent, make sure we're taking the correct steps each time. A couple of bad steps and bad placement put us in bad position. So we got to get consistent and make sure we're all on the same page. A lot of times we're one person away, and so all 11 need to be on page every single play.
Now, Coach, on the defensive side of the ball last week against Wimberley, I have to say the pass defense was extraordinary. And I believe that Wimberley had to change their game plan and go strictly to the run. And I thought your pass defense really showed something last week. What are you going to have to do tonight with the Polar Bears? Because they like to throw that deep ball. Aguilar, the quarterback, likes to just sit back and chunk it.
Yes, sir. We're going to need it big tonight. We're going to need a good pass rush to put pressure on him so he can't set his feet and make those good throws. But the corners and safeties, they got to be alert, and they got to have their game on every play because they can burn you quickly.
Now, Coach, I know the level of competition may be a little different for the Polar Bears, but how did you approach this game tonight? I know we talked about what you have to do on offense and defense, but as the big picture, what are you going to need to do?
Is show up and play, make sure we're focused, make sure we're mentally ready. We got this week and next week to get ready for the playoffs, make sure that we're the best team we can be at that point, and tonight's a stepping stone for that. So we got to come out and make sure we're on our game, make sure we're doing the mental stuff right to come out and play well.
Coach, for your special teams, do you think this may give you an opportunity to do a little bit different things on special teams, or no different than what you would normally do?
We rebuilt a couple of our special teams. We're going to have a whole new kickoff team out there, and we got to work on those guys flying down and making tackles in the open field. Last week that hurt us big time, giving up some big returns. And this week we're looking to see them do a great job and keep them inside the 25 all game.
Yeah, you mentioned tackling. I would think that after 30 missed tackles that you would be looking at probably that was another big focus this week. And so what did you do to kind of emphasize that?
We went back and worked it real well. Credit to them. They did a great job, and big physical runners and hard runners, but doesn't matter who it is, we got to make sure we're tackling, going through the legs and getting that. So we spent a lot of time working tackling this week, making sure that we're physical, and hopefully we get that cleaned up.
All right, Coach, so tonight your three keys to victory.
as coming out and playing the mental game right, fixing our special teams, having a great kickoff coverage, and just getting out and executing offensively and defensively.
All right, Coach, good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
Oh, we're back. All right, we're back here to Austin, Texas. Here,
focus,
Lance. Polar Bear Stadium here at Austin Achieve, and man, it's a whole different ball game tonight. It's a little bit chilly.
Yeah,
but
good
hey,
football weather.
Yes, yeah, we finally got a little bit of football weather, right? I mean, after 6 months of feeling like we lived in Haiti or something. But anyways, hey, let's talk a little bit about the what we think the bracket is.
Yeah,
for the playoffs.
Man, you did some homework here.
Yeah,
man.
you know what?
Like,
I mean,
wow.
I got chicken scratch and I've got some stuff scratched through and.
Well, I mean, it
so,
looks good, man.
But anyways, hey, so I think in we'll see if I'm right or what I've put down here is correct. But I think in the first round, if everything holds true tonight, we finish in second in the district, Wimberley finishing first. Looks like Wimberley's going to play YMLA.
Yeah, the old district foe, right?
Which I mean, it's YMLA. That should be fairly simple there for the Texans. But we're on the opposite side of the bracket.
Yeah.
And we're down here, and it looks like if everything holds true, Pearsall would be our opponent in the first round. And then right above us there, who we would play in the second round, and there's a big game tonight down south, down in the valley. It's going to be between Bishop and Raymondville.
Yeah, and Bishop came from 3A now to 4A.
Right,
so.
And so Bishop and Raymondville are really fighting it for and we'll update you on the scores, but they're fighting for the district championship there in District 16. And so that's really going to tell us who, and it looks like they're slated to play Corpus Christi West Oso.
If everything stays the way it is, right? Yes.
And then maybe in the second round, you would see depending on who wins that Bishop Raymondville game tonight, who would win the district, they would be slated there. So maybe in the second round, if we could beat Pearsall, we would play Bishop Raymondville. But yeah, and then above them you've got Bandera and Laga Vista. I've got Sinton playing Rio Grande Gorilla, and then you go up into the Wimberley side of the bracket. You've got Wimberley YMLA. We discussed them, and then if they win, they'll play maybe Port Isabel or Orange Grove, and then win in District 14. It looks like Divine would play Gerald in the first round, and then Ingleside, runner-up there in District 15, would play the loser there of Bishop Raymondville tonight. And so anyways, it kind of looks like, first round Pearsall, second round Bishop, maybe Raymondville, and then possibly, and in my projections, third round you're looking at maybe looking at Laga Vista again, or possibly Sinton.
Yeah, that's the one I don't know. It's
that's where it starts to get a little sticky, right?
Yeah, because we don't know how good Sinton really, and Ingleside, because Ingleside is one of those teams you just don't know until they play the game, so to speak. So you see those two teams, Sinton and Ingleside, as we talked about off camera before, is that you don't know because Ingleside can play very well.
Yeah, and Ingleside's kind of fighting it out with Sinton. And again, they're playing the final week next week for probably the district championship there in District 15. So Ingleside, Sinton, Bishop, Raymondville in 16. So we'll see how that kind of cleans up in the next couple of weeks here. But third round, if we make it that far there, we could play Laga Vista or Sinton or an Ingleside, and then fourth round, if Wimberley kind of holds true. If you look at the past years, we could play them in the fourth round in the regional finals, basically Region 4 Division 2 4A championship there.
Right.
So
well, either way, I see it. Like, let's say if there is a three-way tie tonight, if Laga Vista somehow upsets Wimberley tonight, there's a three-way tie. There's a good chance that we win on point differential. We may be in that first slot, and we still have we'll still have it tough to go all the way down because we'll either play, the either Gerald or Sinton or Ingleside, all the way, just depending on how. We don't know if it's it'll be Sinton or Ingleside,
right,
just based on that last game of the year. But either way, I think the Panthers are still going to have a tough time getting all the way through, but they have a good chance, put it that way. So
right.
Here
come the Panthers.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's all up in the air. But as we get closer,
to talk about, right?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
I mean, hey, I think it's looking right now. I mean, if a lot of things, and really,
yeah,
that Pearsall's probably going to be the first round opponent. But we'll see. But that's looking pretty. That's I don't know. I'm pretty confident in saying that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and the Polar Bears, we hadn't talked much about them, and I mean, right now, I think after losing 70-0 to Lago Vista last week, it's tough to play the really upper elite teams, because you have these. Really, there's two tiers in this district, and some people could say three possibly if you put Gerald at that other spot. But I think that with Austin, Achieve, and Maynard New Tech, they're still new programs, so they still have a ways to go. But you never know. I saw them get some long passes on some of the highlights I saw from Lago Vista. They had a 56-yard catch in there, so they can make things happen on the deep ball. So I think that's the one thing we'll have to worry about with them, with Aguilar being the quarterback.
Okay.
So.
Well, yeah. So we are. Captains are coming out. We've got number 14, Bryce Nall, number 13, Landon Taylor, and number 21, Diego Chapa. For the Austin Achieve Polar Bears, number 4, Richard Aguilar, number 6, Juan Lopez, and number 11, Mateo Coias. That's a tough one there, but yeah. So we'll see. The flip is up.
See who wins it.
And Navarro does win the toss.
I would assume they defer, but we'll see. That would be my speculation there and prediction. Oh.
It looks like the Panthers are going to receive the ball,
Yeah, that totally took me by surprise.
Yeah.
Wow, so we'll get this thing started here. I'm assuming we'll be doing the national anthem from their speaker system, pre-recorded. So.
Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, they're going to have somebody sing it. Awesome. on the visitor sideline as well. So we're going to get to see it happen as it happens. So I may not be able to yell quite as loud as I normally do, Lance. So.
Uh-oh. So Panthers set to receive. Austin Achieve wearing the traditional purple with the white helmets and the stripe. Gray pants with polar bears down the side and purple socks. Our Navarro Panthers in all white with the purple helmet and the traditional N.
They're bringing all the white pants from last year. I believe these are the same ones. And
right.
They've been wearing black most of the games.
They have. So Panthers opt for the all white tonight. And we're here under the crescent moon here in Austin, Texas at Polar Bear Stadium at the campus of Austin Chief. Kickoff is a line drive kick. I think that's Tregan James with the return, and he's running, and he's going to break it, folks, and he might not be caught. Let's see.
Is
no,
he?
he's a touchdown, Panthers. I do not see.
I don't see any flags.
I don't see any flags. I'm looking, scanning the field for a flag, but that was Tregan James on the kick return. And it looks like he hit him in the chest. And he
bounced off a little bit. And maybe that's and what I normally say is that's normally what slows it down a little bit. So.
Right. So, great return there from Tregan.
So he was I think, what was he, right about the 36, 35?
I was going to say, Hank, did you get it?
I think he was right close to the 35 when he picked it up. So 65-yard return. Oh.
And Landon Taylor on the kick. He hits the crossbar and misses it. I'm not sure.
It was it looked like a bad hold, or, just it didn't look right altogether. So you see the Panthers missed that extra point with the attempt by Landon Taylor, right?
Landon Taylor with the kick, and I'm not sure. I haven't gotten word on Sneed, and
Sam Sneed's normally the kicker. So,
and I don't. It might be a COVID issue.
So there may be other other reasons. So,
no worries. So I think that's the. Well, no, I was gonna say first extra point, but no, we missed a couple. But but all good. But great return.
Wasn't it?
Tregan James. Tregan turned on the Jets and
and what was unusual about that? He took it back. Usually you don't see the runs happen towards the middle.
Right.
So he cut it from the outside into the middle and found the lane. And then he cut it back outside.
And he got the sideline.
Right towards the pylon. And I've always taught in youth football, hey, once you get out that one point, run away from everybody by going to the pylon.
So this looks like the normal the kickoff team here. It looks like Landon Taylor is going to kick it. He's does kick it deep. He's got the wind. He finds the crease, and they grab it, and the Panthers run him out of bounds about the 22-yard line or so for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, Mahias was the return man. Gets it all the way up close to the 20-yard line. I have to kind of step back and get a little bit higher here.
And he is going to set that on the Polar Bear 22.
Yep. Yeah, you got to love the field, though. I actually kind of like it. seeing the purple and the gray. It gives it. They call it the tundra here.
The tundra. So the Panthers look like they're playing press coverage here. Man-to-man, tight. They fake it, and he keeps it. And the Panthers bottle him up for, it looks like no gain.
Well, the bear was in on that right away, I think.
The bear.
Yeah, we'd like to hear this and see. There it is.
Yeah, so Aguilar was bottled up pretty quickly there. And actually, they do give him about a yard or a half yard there. So that's going to bring up 2nd and 9 from their own 21, 22-yard line.
Yeah, Aguilar, he's one of he's their second leading rusher that it shows off of Max Preps that I have.
So Aguilar in the shotgun, and he scrambles a little bit, and he's got some room, but the Panthers bottle him up. Looks like Gabriel Rangel was the first Panther there, and Hayden Tolliver comes to finish it.
Yeah, and you see that, I mean, good pursuit by the Panthers, but Aguilar, you see the little bit of speed that he does have. He's able to get to that crease on the outside, finds a little room. Not much, but enough to gain some yardage. Yeah,
he gained a couple yards. It's going to be 3rd and 6. So it looks like about a 3-yard gain there for the Polar Bears. It's a low snap. Aguilar, he sneaks out. He's got some room. It looks like Nick Swartzlozy hits him first. And Jaden Gomez for the Panthers comes along and finishes him. But see where they spot that. It's just going to be short of the first down.
Boy, I want to tell you what, Aguilar was very lucky to get out of the backfield because Landon Taylor came in untouched. I mean, he was coming in from the outside, but Aguilar went inside of him, and so you saw Taylor just miss him. I mean, there would have been a heck of a collision if Aguilar doesn't step up.
So Aguilar looks like he is going to punt it. We do not have anybody back. The ball hits and takes a Polar Bear roll down to about the 32-yard line, where it looks like the Panthers will set up shop.
Good defense by the Panthers. I mean, you don't want to let go any big plays, so good job by the Panthers defense. And let's see what the offense to do. You do have Bryce Nall coming out as the starting quarterback for the Navarro Panthers, as he has been pretty much all year long. We've had Schulke come in every once in a while to fill in, and I want to say Schulke has done a good job, too, filling in when he had to, but we'll probably see him later tonight.
So 9:36 left here in the first quarter. And we're bringing motion. Chapa is coming out here to the near side.
Shotgun.
And we hand it off. That's Mabane. And Mabane's fighting his way. He's still fighting. And they got his jersey, but not before he picks up about 12 yards.
Nice shot right there. I mean, it was right there in your living room if you're watching that shot. Mabane, just dragging people with him. And he gets enough, it looks to be, for a first down. And but, yeah, that's the first time I think we've seen any kind of RPO look out of the shotgun from the Panthers this year.
The Panthers, and so, again, we've got, 2 receivers now to the near side. And so, it looks like, again, shotgun with 2 backs in the backfield, one behind. He does hand it straight up the middle. That's Chapa, and he breaks loose, and he is pulled down, but not after a nice gain there for the Panthers.
I tell you what, again, we talk about this all the time about Chapa, what he did there. But, I mean, by the time he's hitting the line of scrimmage, he's full speed. The acceleration just unbelievable. Great. The whole line of scrimmage moved 10 yards down the field.
And I don't know, Hank, if he was touched until he got about 12 yards.
Right, exactly.
But
good work by the offensive line.
But, again, shotgun formation. We do have a Cropper, looks like, is going to take the handoff. He's running to the right side. He's getting to the outside, and it looks like he's going to walk in for a nice long run touchdown there for the Panthers.
Panthers did again. Cropper, he just, wow. And again, he looked like he had the acceleration already. He was full speed by the time he had the ball coming across. You were going to say something. I'm sorry.
No. He just bounced to the outside. Almost looked like the same thing Tregan James. The kick is up, and it looks like it is good this time. Nice hold, nice kick by Landon Taylor. And that's going to make it the Panthers 13-0 here with 8:27 left here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and it's 8:27 is the key, and I think the Panthers are going to continue to show some wrinkles, do some different things. I know Coach Blunt didn't really want to give it away in the interview, but I had that feeling as well, and you kind of confirmed that with this earlier that there were going to be some wrinkles. And, I still think, though, as a slot T team, that's your bread and butter. That's what you do. I mean, you pound people, you go after them. But there are times where you need to change things up a little bit because, you are going to have to play from behind and all. And the slot T is just not designed to play from behind. And so I think this is a good opportunity for the Panthers to work on those wrinkles.
Yeah, that's right. And let's see what happens. I mean, moving forward, it's interesting though. They still that was a base play out of the shot. Even though he was in the. So this is Landry Blackburn kicking it. He does find the crease. It bounces and he does jump on the ball. I can't see quite who that was, but he falls on it right around his 25-yard line. Looks like maybe they're going to spot it at the 26 of the Polar Bears.
Here, Villanueva, I think, was the person that jumped on it, the player.
So 8:24 here left in the first quarter. Panthers up 13-0. Two receivers to the near side and two to the far side. They got one back in the backfield. Shotgun formation. We got motion. He does hand it off to the motion man, and he is tackled quickly. And that looks like Craig Hyman.
Yeah, Craig Hyman comes in, and they just moved him up, I believe, from
JV, sophomore.
So good job by getting into the backfield and making a play.
And he was almost, if he wasn't unblocked, he wasn't touched much, but he was back there quickly. Yeah. And that's a loss of about 6 or 7 yards, bringing up a 2nd and 17 here for the Polar Bears. So he's back to pass. He's looking right. He's got some pressure, but he's elusive. He gets out of it. He makes a move, but he is throttled up. It looks like Landon Taylor.
One of the first one, but
there was the first one in there. There was a host of Panthers. Tolliver was in there. Blackburn was in there. a few Panthers.
Yeah, Blackburn was in there. But I tell you what, Blackburn was the one who helped bottle him up. Didn't let him get to the outside. Made him cut it back into the defense. So good job on outside containment. But overall, the Panthers look to. They have to. You got a type of quarterback that just likes to run around. He's always running around for his dear life. But you've got to contain him because he's fast enough to get down the field.
Yeah, he's a good little athlete, and so we saw that last year. So trips to the far side, Aguilar, he looks to the right, he doesn't have much, and he doesn't throw it, and he's pulled down for another loss. Yeah. And it's going to be 4th and. Geez, it may be up to Georgetown.
Yeah.
Looking north, right?
Yeah.
With 6:33 and ticking here in the first quarter, Aguilar's gonna punt it, and we do this time have Gabriel Rangel, number 11, deep for the Panthers.
Yeah, and again, it's Aguilar back to receive a punt. It was a little high, but he shanks it off to the side.
Yeah, and let's see where they mark that. It looks like the Panthers are going to get the ball somewhere around the Polar Bear 30-yard line.
Yeah, it's going to be right at the 30 if I'm looking at this correctly. So the Panthers are going to be in great field position here after that. I mean, it was shaked off the side. Nice spiral punt, but it didn't go quite the direction that Aguilar wanted it, and now Panthers end up with it in their pistol type formation.
They hand it. This is Cohen Blunt, and he's bottled up. Looks like by number 16 and number 30. Villanueva, and
yeah, he's bottled up, but Blunt gets enough for the first down, I believe, and just short. Actually, they're going to call him just short, right at 2nd down and 1 that's coming up here. But yeah, Cohen Blunt is like he put out that stiff arm and pushing him away, and kept rolling after that, but couldn't quite get to the 20.
So again, same formation. Bryce, he hands it off again. I think that's Cohen Blunt. No, I'm sorry, Mabane. I was
What a beautiful cut.
Completely fooled, but Mabane runs that in to the left side there and put the Panthers up here, 19-0.
And the cut that we like to see, we see Mabane make great cuts, throughout his short career so far, last year and this year. But that one actually was a very nice cut to make some people miss and then get in.
Landon Taylor this time, he gets underneath it, and man, he gets a nice
right.
height and on the kick, and
almost
over the net. They've got a net there that kind of catches the balls from hitting the school, and yeah, that was great little kick. So
yeah.
Puts the Panthers up 20-0 here.
I say hallelujah because it's like it's a good thing when we make extra points afterwards.
Yeah, right.
I love it. You got to love the Panthers, the way they're able to come out and kind of take charge, and that's what you wanted. You don't want them to come out with the slow start against a team and give them any kind of confidence, and right now that's what they've been able to do. Let's see if we got any. I was going to pull up.
There's a couple games I know, Hank, that started at 7. So
I'll see if I got Wimberley up on Laga Vista. It shows 3-0.
Oh, okay.
With 6 minutes 33 seconds left in the first quarter, and that's kind of surprising. I would have thought Wimberley would have already scored against Laga Vista. A touchdown.
A touchdown, right? Well, maybe it was like last week when they drove down and missed. They had a field goal opportunity but made it, right? And they missed it against us. But so we'll see here. The Panthers going to kick off, and man, that is Hyman. He kicks it in the gap, and it's fumbled around.
Oh my goodness!
But looks like he just goes and takes a knee at the. Jeez, I'm sorry, folks.
It looks like, we're kind of low here, but it looks
about
to be
the
close
10-yard line, right? Yeah.
I was trying to look over here to the side of the markers, so, yeah, it's right close to the 10. You got it. Good eye. Oh, we're not playing baseball.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
maybe I'll stand up a little higher.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do too. And I was trying to see where the score on Gerald and Manor New Tech, because that's the other district foe. But I also have Seguin losing in the first quarter, 6-0 to Wagner. And then Marion and Cole, Marion's up 14-7 in the second quarter.
So the Panthers are playing press coverage tonight, which we have not seen all year.
Yeah.
Both corners are right at the line of scrimmage. So the handoff looks like up the middle and no gain.
Yeah, just a pile-up. But Ring Hill comes up with the ball, but after I believe the whistle or forward progress was called.
And again, a rough snap by the Polar Bears. They've had a little bit. The quarterback is very athletic, and he's earning his athleticism tonight, right? They've been low, high, to the side.
And the way, I don't know how the wind swirls down there because the building's down there. The wind's actually coming not quite a crosswind, but it's angled across the field a little bit. So I don't know if that has any effect on the snap or not.
So second in 10, and he fumbles the snap this time, but he picks it up again. Nice athleticism by Aguilar, but he does grab it and fall down. But again, he's probably, and again at my angle, he's going to lose several. It looks like at least 5, maybe 6 yards on the play.
Well, we thank all the listeners that are out there and watchers. I think of listeners. I'm still in radio mode, I guess.
Right.
But thanks for everybody tuning in and watching us tonight. And we'll get the QR code up later when we get another break and to donate to the Audiovisual Club.
So shotgun formation again. We got a single receiver to the near side. Aguilar keeps it, and he is tackled up the middle there. And that looks like Nick Swartzlosey comes up and shoots the gap.
Yeah,
there.
Nick was like, he was all out run blitz, it looked like, by the Panthers as he's coming back from his defensive back position and just finds the crease and goes right in there, makes the tackle on Aguilar. And you like to see that because, I mean, a good, solid tackle as opposed to what we saw at times now, because I still think the Panthers defense overall played very good last week, other than what people were, seeing about what we talked about, the tackling. We still had, some missed tackles and we need to work. But other than that, I really think the Panthers did. Overall, when you look at the big picture,
right,
I thought they did very good.
21 points against Wimberley on their own field. I can't agree more.
Your stuff is
losing.
We've got wind here, so it happens.
So we've got 4th down, and there was a false start penalty there, and that's going to back the Polar Bears back even further.
Yeah, another false start.
And they roll the clock, but Aguilar standing just inside his goal line, and he's going to punt it. He punts it out. It looks like Rangel's going to catch it. He makes a couple of nice moves, and wow, he's going to score.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, that was
easy score
for
him.
Really nice.
But I say that, but he had, like you said, Lance, he had some great moves early on. Kept his eyes
upfield. Right?
Yeah, he kept them upfield and looked for the whole great vision by Rangel. Yeah, update, Lago Vista is up on the Wimberley Texans 7-3 right now. And that's in the first quarter with 4 minutes and 46 seconds remaining. Had one of our camera operators kind of waving me down. Hey, make sure to update that.
So the kick is up and good. And again, Landon Taylor with a nice kick and a nice extra point. So,
and let's go ahead and bring up the QR code for donations to the Audiovisual Club. And Lance, this is we've been talking about this all year long, and we've had a lot of people start to donate, and we really appreciate it. We don't get none of that. Me and Lance are volunteers here, and the young students that are working with us, are looking to have some funds to be able to continue this program into the future for years to come, hopefully. And,
and what do we got? We've got volleyball.
Right.
We got volleyball playoffs coming up. We've got basketball. We've done a theater play. Maybe we hope to get the band competition.
Yeah.
Right. So hey, we're just getting started. We've been 2.5 months, maybe.
Yep. So it's something that's just started, and we can continue it if you get your camera out, get the code, and donate. So thank you very much for the ones that have donated. We really appreciate it.
So it's 27-0, 2:43 left here. The Panthers kick off. That's Landon Taylor. Again, shoots the gap. And it takes a weird bounce, an almost odd bounce, and rolls out of bounds.
Yeah, and right here, I mean, we see it. I mean, it's only like 40 feet from us. And
right.
That ball turned, and it almost did the spin that you had when you take and spin the ball on the ground. When you turn it and spin it, it goes up on its edge, on the point. Well, that almost looked like that there. It was just a very odd bounce. And I guess that's why they say the football is made the way it is, because it has those odd bounces.
So they are going to spot it after the penalty, because it went out of bounds, so the Panthers get penalized.
Right.
And so it'll be spotted at the Polar Bear 35-yard line is where they will set up shop. So shotgun formation, trips to the near side, single receiver to the far side. And it looks like the Polar Bears are going to call a timeout. Their first timeout here of the first half.
Yeah.
But any updates we got on the score?
No.
It looks like Lago Vista's gone up on Wimberley.
Yeah, that's what I was saying a while ago. 7-3, and now it shows an update that it's back in the. It is in the first quarter with 4 minutes remaining. Sorry, Gerald is beating Manor New Tech 13-0 in the first quarter with 7:49 remaining, and the Wagner Thunderbirds beating Seguin 13-0, and then. Marion is beating Cole right now 14-7 in the second quarter with 7:19 remaining. And I know, Lance, you had some games that you wanted to to focus on too, and one of those was Raymondville and Bishop playing tonight, and to see where they might be.
Well, the Pearsall Mavericks are up on Divine 14-7, which is a little bit of a shocker.
Right.
Let's scroll down here and see. Sinton's up 8-0 on Corpus Christi, the West Oso Bears.
Here's the snap.
Oh, the snap goes, and he's got to receive. Oh, he pump fakes, and he's brought down by Hayden Tolliver. But it looked like he pump faked and thought he had a receiver, but didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, and there's that elusiveness too that we see by Aguilar. So I'm sorry I know we were going through scores too, but Raymondville, I didn't know if you.
Yeah, Raymondville Bishop. I don't have any updates.
Wow.
I do have Orange Grove up 7-3 on the Ingleside Mustangs, and that's
kind
again
of
a little bit of a shocker. So,
Yep.
So it's second, and he does get about a yard. So Aguilar. So 2nd and 9 for the Polar Bears. He looks right again. He is going to throw it this time. He's got a receiver, but Bryce Nall was running with him, and that was 0.
Yeah, Mejias.
In Mejias. And he's a freshman. But,
got a little speed. He
got some speed.
He went past Nall there for a little. He had a step or two.
Right.
But I think Bryce was pretty much setting back a little bit to kind of gauge where the ball might be. But Mejias did not know where the ball was because he wasn't looking up for it. So when that receiver doesn't look up for the ball, the defender thinks, hey, it's not being thrown.
And he threw it maybe a little bit inside. But
and that wind, I think, did have an effect on that ball.
So he rolls to the right this time. He dumps it off to his receiver, number 10, but quickly tackled there. And again, Hyman and number 11, Rangel, in for the tackle for the Panthers.
Yeah, Hyman's been all over the field tonight. We've already called his name several times, and he's
Which
playing,
is a sophomore, right?
Yeah, he's playing in that linebacker position.
Yeah, Hyman, this is his first varsity football game that he's actually played in, and they are going to punt it. It's 4th down.
He almost got the block as we talked about.
And there's a knuckler there that rolls. And he picks it up. Nall picks it up and fights forward for about another 9 yards. He picked it up at about our own Panther 45, and it looks like they'll have the ball there at the Polar Bear. Looks like 40. Well, they're going to mark it about the 48, 47-yard line.
So, and we're still in the first quarter, folks. It's 27-0, and we are still in the first quarter, 41 seconds remaining. And so now the Panthers will have it, as Lance said, right at the 47-yard line. And Panthers been running out of this pistol-type formation.
So they got a receiver on the near side, Schulke. Cropper to the far side. He fakes it. Looks like Bryce has got it, and he's going to run free, and he's going to stroll in
man. And we're still in the first quarter.
An easy touchdown. But I think the confusion on that one confused the Polar Bears because the Panthers had some motion there, and Bryce ended up keeping the ball.
Yeah, and he did a good job of carrying out the fakes to both of the backs that were there, and it really threw off the Polar Bears. So now Landon Taylor is going to set up for the extra point attempt here for the Panthers.
The snap is up. And it looks like it is
no good. He looked like he was trying to punch that one through where he, didn't follow through with the kick, just punched it.
Right, almost like a toe punch, like the old Monkerud style from last year. But the snap was a little bit high, and Bryce didn't quite get it down quite quick. He got it down, but it was close, right?
So we're going to redo this thing. There was offsides on the Polar Bears, so the Panthers are going to re-kick this thing and give them another opportunity to get it right.
Another practice, right?
Right.
Practice. So on this one, again, he gets it underneath it. And I tell you what, when Taylor gets – he almost kicked that, again, over the net.
Yeah.
He's getting some height on that, which is nice to see.
So that takes the score 33 or 34.
Should be 34-0 here in the first quarter with 30 seconds left here in the first quarter. So So the Polar Bears will be they'll be receiving the ball for the 5th time here in the first quarter, which is amazing.
Right. Well, I mean, it's.
But
yeah, and I don't know what the yardage is, but I would bet right now it's negative as the loss totals. You said it should be in the negative for rushing thus far.
Right.
And the defense is holding. And Coach Blunt said in his interview he wanted to make sure they really worked on the pressure, getting pressure on the quarterback. And we've seen that here tonight for sure. But it's not necessarily just pressure. It's how you do it and staying in your lanes. We've always talked about that throughout the year, but I think they're doing a good job.
Landry Blackburn kicks off. He actually kicks it to, it looks like I can't see his number. He at 22, I think, is grabbed it. But, man, he was met quickly by the Panthers.
And then there's a flag that comes out, after the play, so it's probably going to be some type of unsportsmanlike conduct. That I don't know.
Yeah, and we are actually set up opposite of the Panthers bench. We're behind the Austin Achieve Polar Bear bench, but we hear a little groaning from the Panther side. But I'm not sure what that means.
So Austin Achieve gives their visiting side the press box side for the most part is what I see. They do have it supposedly split down the middle, but we're on the side where there's actually Austin Achieve fans in the little bleachers.
So it looks like the Polar Bears will start their drive here from their own 35-yard line.
So did they wave the flag? I wasn't quite sure.
Well, no, I'm sorry.
Marking it off.
No, I take that back.
It is a 15-yarder that goes against the Panthers, so unsportsmanlike conduct.
So it will be right straight up at the 50.
So that goes against the Panthers.
So they will start, right straight up here at the 50. And first and 10, it's 34-0. There is 25 seconds left here in the first quarter.
Well, you get the close-up view. That's a really cool view right now.
So he's back to pass. He's going to throw it. He throws it to the right side there. It looks like he's going to – and, it's Blackburn picks it off. And it looks like he's going to try to go all the way. And he's going to there is a flag, though, unfortunately.
And that's a blind. They still call these type of blocks. They're going to call them blindside blocks, even though you may say that's a good block. But they're going to call it all the way back here as it happened right in front of us. I know you followed the play, but I saw it as it developed.
Yeah, and I see Bo Brumley and Landon Taylor kind of tapping each other on the helmet. So I don't know if
it's one of those when you're trailing, you can't get the trailer. You can't go and face the other way.
Yeah, and that's somewhat of a new rule.
Right.
You can't
come back from your own goal line and come back into a player, and so that's what they're calling now. That goes against the Panthers. So the ball would be spotted 15 yards from the spot of the foul. So your son would have had a nice little pick six there.
Yeah.
And they call it back. Golly.
Well, and that's so they're going to have the ball there at the 35-yard line. After that, and it was almost like the Polar Bear receiver quit running his route, or maybe there was miscommunication.
Right.
I couldn't really tell.
I thought he kind of lost it because he had to look back over his shoulder and look back towards the quarterback, and the ball tailed off to the outside.
So it is going to be Panther ball, so the interception will count. And Cohen Blunt takes the snap, and he's going to run. He's at the 40. He's at the 30, down to the 20, and he should go all the way for the Panther touchdown. And nice run there by Cohen Blunt, who took the Wildcat.
Yes, I thought, were they going to run some type of Philly special with Nall going out of there or something? Nope, that was just straight to Cohen Blunt, going off to the left side, and the Panthers offensive line moves some people out, and that ends the first quarter as far as time goes. So now.
So 65-yard run from the Wildcat for Blunt.
65?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And he cut back, and so that the kick is up, and it looks like it is no good.
Yeah, from our angle, it almost looked like it got inside of that.
Yeah, it did look good, but they say no good. So
yeah,
that's going to leave it right at 40-0 here to end the first quarter for the Panthers.
So now the Panthers up by 40, and we're just now starting the second quarter. But it's been one of those games thus far where the Panthers pretty much have taken control like they should have. And I mean, and not give them any kind of, I talked about before, any kind of confidence that they could be in the game. But I'm going to check up and see if I've got any updates on the Wimberley game. And right now I haven't been able to get my, I don't know if it's my app or what, but I have not been able to get the updated score list on Wimberley Lago Vista. So. But once we get that, I'll get that out to you as well, because we were watching that one really closely tonight.
Yes, we are. That's, and we mentioned it earlier. It could be, it could be a game. I don't know.
Right.
Wimberley after a big win against their rival, going to, a feisty Lago Vista team. So we'll see what happens. Well, we're here, folks, starting the second quarter from Austin, Texas. Here at the Arctic, or field here.
Tundra.
The Tundra, I'm sorry, the Tundra. It's purple and gray. It's really a neat field.
Yeah, it is.
But the Panthers will kick off. That is Hyman, and he does fair catch it, and he falls down there, number 16 for the Polar Bears. It's going to be right at the 20, right at the 25. Villanueva.
Yeah, Villanueva takes it down on one knee. Update, I do have it with a minute 16 remaining first quarter, or I did. It shows that Lago Vista is up 14-10 over the Wimberley Texans right now. They're playing at home, so that may have a difference as well. Because Lago Vista usually plays good at home. But we proved that wrong earlier this year. But, we'll see what Wimberley can do. Wimberley is Wimberley, so we'll see what happens.
So they hand it off to number 6, and he's bottled up. It looks like for a short loss, or I'm sorry, not a short game, but a loss of about 1 yard or so. And that was, again, Hayden Tolliver.
Well, Marion is up on San Antonio Cole Cougars, 21-7. And Wagner is up. It shows 20-0 now over the Seguin Matadors.
So that's going to bring up second and 11, 10:40 and counting here in the second quarter. Shotgun formation. Aguilera back. He rolls to, and he's got a lot of pressure, and he's finally tackled there by Landry Blackburn, forced out of bounds. But first to hit him, I think, was Caden Pugh, the sophomore.
Yeah. Cade Pugh coming in, and he's also one of those, I believe, that was moved up. But good job by Pugh to be in there. And Jacob Gilbert, that whole front line was chasing him down. But I tell you what, though, the first one there, like you said, Pugh being there and being able to make the initial tackle, and Blackburn was the one to finish it up.
So that's going to bring up 3rd and 10, so no gain on the play. Shotgun formation, trips to the far side, and one receiver here to the near side. Shotgun, he's going to roll to his right, and he's running, and he's tackled out there by Gabriel Rangel and Hayden Tolliver again, both on the tackle. So,
yeah, it looked like he had some room out there, and that closed down rather quick. I mean, Aguilar ran about 20 yards across the field, and to only gain maybe a half yard, if that.
Right. So that's going to bring up 4th down here for the Polar Bears. Clock running with 9:15 here left in the second quarter. Panthers up 40-0. And Aguilera is going to punt it, which it seems to me
he's short.
Yeah,
I mean,
he doesn't.
He's not.
Yeah, and he fumbles the snap, and he's tackled immediately. So he drops the snap. I think. Trying to see who that was. It looks like number 65 for the Panthers.
Right.
Which is Ross Strickland, senior.
Yeah, and Ross came in and made a good solid tackle, but we were talking about Aguilar not being back. Usually you want to see it between 10 and 12 yards back, and he was well within 10 yards, from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
to
it was
receive
strange.
that.
It was like, you most of the time you see punters back a little further,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
know
the first thing I noticed.
Right. In the NFL, you see him back at 15 yards,
Yeah.
Here
So
we go.
shotgun formation. You've got Chapa, who's gonna. It looked like he was gonna throw it. He makes a move. He dips outside. He cuts back inside, and he's gonna be down about the 10-yard line of the Polar Bears.
Yeah, and he looked like he was going to pull it back to throw. So I'm still waiting for the Philly special to where it goes back to the other side and then pitches it back to somebody to throw it down to Bryce Nall. So I'm sure that may be coming.
So that's going to bring up second and about 3 or 4. And Bryce Nall's back in. He's got Chapa behind him. He goes in motion. Chapa's going to take the snap, it looks like, out of the Wildcat. He does throw it this time. He throws it up, and it looks like he was going to hit Nall.
Yeah, a nice spiral, I'll have to say that. A nice, nice looking throw, but it just didn't hit the spot.
Just a little high, right?
A little high and behind. And Bryce Nall, I mean, he got up there to try to get that thing.
Yeah.
So that's how you know. And Bryce Nall's not a short person.
No, Bryce Drew runs about 6'2.5". And you're right. He did climb the ladder.
Yeah, he climbed the ladder.
So again, it looks like Chapa's going to take it out of the Wildcat. Nall in motion. He keeps it. He goes straight up the middle, but he is going to be tackled.
So now somebody's on the ground. Is that Chapa?
It looks like it could be Diego Chapa.
Oh, we don't like to see that in these games. So
no, and he's limping a little bit on that left knee, so we don't want to see that. And that'll probably end his night. I know that being up 40-0 here at 6:40 in the second quarter, I know Coach Blunt did not want to see anybody get hurt tonight. So.
Well, and I know that, he didn't say it in his interview, but it's one of those things that's one of the keys tonight, for me is not to see anybody get hurt. Right. You want to play these games, have a little fun, but you don't want to see anybody hurt. You want to be healthy for the playoffs in 2 weeks. So we'll see. And it looks like since he's walking on his own accord, I'm sure there's okay, but we saw that with Zeke Elliott last week for those that watch the Cowboys.
So the Panthers hand it off, running to the right side. It looks like Cropper is going to walk into the end zone for a touchdown. And I think that was 4th down for the Panthers.
So the Cropper, man, I think he's like in another gear tonight. I mean, he's gotten the ball, twice, and he's scored twice, just on 2 touches. I believe that's correct. I mean, we'll find out with the stats, but
that's right.
Cropper he was gone. And nice angle. It looked like a good angle down block by the offensive line that made the crease. Let's see, that one's no good.
And that one's no good as well. So the Panthers hold it 46-0 here.
Yeah, it went a little bit off. That time it did look like it went off the side of the foot, not straight. So when you get a chance, we'll go ahead and do, we'll go ahead and put up the QR code if we can have that available. And thanks to our director, Javier, thank you. And so this QR code is for the donation to the Audiovisual Club of Navarro. We have Mr. Scarborough being the sponsor, the one helping out with that and getting that all started as well with the Panther Posse, putting the initial donation to get all the equipment that's here and to have the help with Monticello art, design, and film. And so they're helping out. So if you go here with your camera, your smartphone, get the code, and then it takes you to where you need to go to donate for the PayPal account, and it goes into the Audiovisual Club. Also, I wanted to mention that we are going to feature Mr. Patrick Todd tonight on an interview I had with him, and he's going to talk a little bit about the Navarro High School Band.
So with the kickoff, that's Hyman, who's kicks it, and again, it's fair caught by number 16, Villanueva.
Yeah, this was one of those cases where another player was calling fair catch for him, and even though that player doesn't know it, you know, if another player calls a fair catch, it's still a fair catch. That's the rule, you know. So anybody on the field could call for the fair catch. It doesn't have to be the actual person who receives the ball. So a lot of people don't know that. You know, it's like, why did he stop if he wasn't the one who called for the fair catch? And that's the rule. Anybody on the field, a player that is, can make that call.
So with 3:58 and counting here in the first half or second quarter, the Polar Bears will take over at their own 25, shotgun formation. They do snap it. He's back. He does throw it. It looks like he's got a receiver, but it's out of bounds. And that was intended to, I think, their leading receiver, number 0.
I'm laughing because there was a person here by the sideline. There's no fence or anything between the bleachers and the field. And he's looking down on his phone, and it hits him in the leg. Luckily, it hits him in the leg. It did not see the ball coming.
Well, the other thing we'll update here is that the Wimberley Texans have gone up 17-14.
Ooh, what a
on
game.
the Laga Vista there. It looks like in the second quarter. So, again, shotgun formation, 2nd and 10 after the incompletion by the Polar Bears. He's back. He scrambles. He's got pressure. He's got room, though. He's running to the right. And it looks like Gabriel Rangel's got a.
They have not made a first down all night, so I was saying that's as close as I think they've been to a first down tonight.
And he does pick up a couple of yards. Looks like he had a lot of purple and gray in front of him.
Yeah, I thought he was already making moves before the players got there. If he would have just kept going straight up the field, I thought he would have had a shot at getting a couple more yards.
So that's
maybe more.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and that's gonna bring up a 3rd and 6 here for the Polar Bears with 2:22 and counting here in the second quarter. So again, shotgun formation, trips to the near side, single receiver to the far side. He throws it. He does dump it out to his receiver, number 10. Missed tackle by the Panthers, but looks like Walker Dietz and Craig Hyman come up to clean up the tackle there.
We're in the second quarter with 1:55 remaining. Okay.
And I think, if I haven't mistaken, I think they've just been running the clock. I think they were running the clock the entire time.
Yeah, and I hadn't paid attention. I'm like, wow, I look up, and there's only 1:40 left here in the second quarter.
Yeah. I don't think they stopped the clock on the kickoff. But they do punt, and the ball goes out of bounds here, almost to us. It's going to bounce out. It looks like somewhere around the 40-yard line. See where they spot it. It's going to be at the 38-yard line.
Yep, you're right, Lance. 1:20, so they did stop the clock on that now. But, yeah, I saw that it was 17-14, Wimberley up on Laga Vista, in Laga Vista. So what a game they got going on there. And Wagner, I still show Wagner up 20-7 with 9:25 over Seguin. And then our neighbors down the road in Marion, they're up 21-7 at halftime still. I don't think they've started the third quarter yet. So that was a 7 o'clock kickoff, I believe.
So it's 46-0 here at Austin Achieve here in the Tundra. And feels a little bit like the Tundra somewhat.
Yeah.
The breeze has a little bit lightened up here.
I would say so.
The winds have calmed just a tad here versus what they were at kickoff. But 1:20 left here in the second quarter. Let's see what the Panthers do. They've got a two receiver split to the near side. It is Nall.
They're going to pass.
He's going to throw it. He's got a receiver. And, it's trying to hit Mabane. And Nall just throws it a little bit inside.
Yeah,
to the seam.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, just right up the seam. And,
Yeah,
Mabane dives and couldn't get it. But.
Yeah, it was just, that was one of those, and he just get a little air under it, and he'd drop it in the old chimney.
Now again, he throws it. This time he completes it to Blackburn. Blackburn shakes a tackler, and he's still running, and he's down. But it doesn't quite get to the touchdown line, but looks like he's down inside the 5, and the Panthers, the clock's running.
Oh, my goodness. I'm laughing over here because he just ran over a polar bear.
And I tell you what, he's the clock's running. They snap it. Bryce rolls to the right side. He throws it, and that's Blackburn.
Yeah.
And he does score a touchdown. So he does finish the job there. And that's probably going to do it for the half, folks.
Yeah.
As they are still running the clock. And they'll probably kick the extra point, and that'll be half. So it looks like that was a little bit of a hurry-up offense.
Yeah, yeah, you hope that.
Oh, and that Blackburn kicks the extra point.
Yeah, right.
So they're trying all kinds of kickers tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he makes it.
Did you even know your son
I
would
had
be
no idea. No idea. But then again, he doesn't tell me much. So.
Well, I understand. I had 2 boys go through that, and it's like, hey, what happened? Well, I don't know, Dad. I don't remember.
Right.
Okay, sure.
So that brings to the half, and it's 53-0. And wow, so exciting half for the Panthers, right?
Right. Well, I guess we'll take our little break. We'll talk about a few things. We're looking to see if the Dazzlers will come out to the field. If they do, we'll try to get the best we can with that, and then we'll go into Mr. Todd. We'll talk about the band, and then we'll go into our high school announcements, and we'll get that out to you and talk to Mr. Kibbe about the stats in the first half. So, well, we'll go in and get ready for the Panther Posse sponsors, the Diamond sponsors. So you're watching Panther football here on the Navarro Panther Network, powered by the Panther Posse. All right, folks, we're back here at the Tundra where the Panthers are leading 53-0 over Austin Achieve Polar Bears. And right now we're going to go ahead and get the interview that I had with Mr. Patrick Todd. He is the Navarro's Fine Arts Director and head band director of the band, and he will talk about some of the things that are going to take place, that have taken place with the band, and what's going to happen tomorrow for area competition in Corpus Christi. So go ahead and stay tuned, and here's Mr. Todd.
Good evening. This is Hank Dietert with the Navarro Panther Network, and I'm here this evening with Mr. Patrick Todd, the Fine Arts Director and Head Band Director for the Navarro Panther Band. So thank you for joining us this evening, and good evening to you, Mr. Todd.
Good evening, Hank.
So tell us, Mr. Todd, some of the things that you're Panther Band have been doing, and also tell us about your officers and all the accomplishments that you've had this year. So I'd like to hear all about it, so I'm going to let you take us in and let you ramble on.
So our primary officers are the drum majors in the band, and this year we have 3 drum majors, which are Elena McHorter, Madison Taggart, and Alex Cantrell. All 3 of these guys are seniors. Alex is our field drum major, so he's actually marching and playing his trumpet, and Elena and Madison are conducting on the podiums. They help out so much with the day-to-day and during rehearsals, whether it's keeping kids on task, getting set up, or just the smooth operation of the band program. So it's a really good leadership team we have through and through with our squad leaders and our captains, but the drum majors really help keep everything together. Accomplishments so far, most recently the band earned first division ratings from all of the judges at UIL Region 12 marching contest a couple weeks ago, and that is actually the round that qualifies us to go on to area, which will be our contest this Saturday in Corpus. But before that, this whole marching band journey started in July with summer marching camp, percussion camp, and color guard camp, and all of that type of stuff. We're not allowed to begin learning drill until August 1st. So for this year and last year, we did a Midnight Madness on August 1st and began learning drill right at midnight on August 1st so that we could get ahead of the curve.
Wow, that sounds cool.
And I think it's really helped. It's helped us. The kids like it because they get to basically have a party all before that, and they're excited. Learn drill for an hour or so, and then when they come back later in the day for the regular rehearsal, they already have 5 or 6 sets on the field, and they know what's going on. So in October, on the 1st, we competed in our first 4 performances, which is kind of unconventional. Most of the time bands will do 1 or 2 performances on a weekend and call it a day, but we actually did 5 performances that weekend if you count the Friday performance before, but we did 4 competitions on that Saturday. We started in Falls City at the Falls City Marching Invitational, where we earned first division ratings from the judges. Then we went to Judson for the Rocket Review marching contest, and we placed 3rd there. And then we went to the Seguin Marching Festival. We made finals, so that was our 3rd performance of the day. And then in finals, we came out 5th, which that was against some really large schools because they put everyone in the same boat for finals. So it's San Marcos High School and Comal Canyon High School and like Earl Warren High School, these real big heavy hitters. So it's nice to be up there in the ranks with those guys as a pretty small 4A, Division II 4A, if you will. The next weekend, we placed 2nd at the Comal Marching Classic, and then we went over to the Rough Rider Marching Contest in San Antonio, and we won, which was really great. We've received Best Color Guard awards as well this season, which has been just totally awesome for those kiddos. So like I said earlier, to reach the area contest, we had to do well at our region level, and all of the contests coming up to region, that prepares us for the region and area levels. We get a lot of feedback from the judges, and most of it's audio recordings, so we know exactly what part they're talking about, and we take their feedback and we just keep chipping away at the product so we can have our strongest performance the next time we're ready to perform. So area will be at Cal Allen High School. We march in the prelims round at 1:15. That will be we're the second band after lunch, which is a pretty good spot. There are 32 bands competing that day out of a possible 43. So some bands did not make it that far, and then they will take the top 12 out of those 32 to finals. And we hope to make finals. We have the last 2 years. And then from there, they're taking the top 6 bands from finals onto the state contest. And we're doing our best, and we've got kids are doing super well. They sound great. They look good, and we'll see what happens and what the judges think of us on Saturday.
All right, thank you, Mr. Todd, for getting us all that information about the Navarro Band, and good luck this weekend, tomorrow, and we wish you all the best, and go Panthers. And thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, so we're here back. Halftime, the Panthers up 53-0, but we've been joined here from the Seguin Gazette, Scott Kibbe.
All right, Scott, what do you got for us?
All right, it's not too pretty, as you can imagine. For the Panthers, eight first downs, 10 rushes for 227 yards, 38 passing yards on 2 out of 4 attempts. They've run 14 plays. No punts, no fumbles, 2 penalties for 30 yards. Blunt is the leading rusher, 2 carries, 74 yards and a touchdown. Cropper, 2 for 45, 2 touchdowns. Achieve, on the other hand, no first downs, 15 rushes for minus 12 yards, minus 2 passing yards, 2 out of 5 attempts with 1 interception. 4 punts, average of 21 yards. 1 fumble, did lose it. And then on penalties, 1 penalty for 2 yards because that was down on the inside their 3.
Yeah, I mean, defense. Though, when you keep teams in the negative, you're going to do well. And so hopefully, the Panthers can still continue this defensive effort. Like I said, even though we had some missed tackles in the game last week against Wimberley, I thought overall our defense did a pretty darn good job to only hold Wimberley to 21 points and to get them out of their passing game to make them run. So
they're getting the right place. I mean, that's
Right.
that's a big part of it. You just have to be able to finish it with the tackles. And I think another thing he was real concerned about last week was the kickoff coverage. He mentioned
Right. Oh,
to
yeah.
me in the article, and that's been better tonight. And that's something they've been, I'm sure, working on a lot this week.
Yeah, and even without Sam Snead tonight, we've seen the kickers here, mainly Taylor, I guess, being able to put it in certain spots in the gaps. Lance likes it in the gaps. I like it outside the. I like it outside the numbers, close to the sidelines, so he can pin them in there.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't really matter either way, is what I'm saying. But the idea of being able to place the ball is the key.
Yeah.
Place it where you want it, and I think the Panthers. It's just. I know the level of competition too is an issue. I mean, they rarely have. I mean, I look on the roster; they barely have anybody over 6 foot, on this team for Austin to achieve. So, but I think the Panthers just need to continue playing mistake-free football and don't get over their heads. Don't get too big of a head and play fundamental, like you talked about earlier, fundamental football.
Yeah, I think so. And working on some new things, I think that also helps them. It gives them a little bit, kind of adds to the interest for them in these games that may be harder to keep their focus.
Yeah, this has always been an interesting game, and over the past several years, and to me, it's kind of, we've usually just run our base offense and, like you said, throw the ball, but man, we. Coming out in that interesting, pistol formation and basically giving other teams something to practice on a little bit more, huh? Right?
Yeah, and with a few more weeks of working on it,
it could be used too. And me and Lance have talked about it as well. Is that as a slot T team, if you get behind, it's very difficult, to make the plays that you need through the slot T offense in itself. So you have to have something else, and I think, by working on this, you have the ability to play more of a 2-minute offense and be able to get down the field a little quicker than if you're in a slot T.
You can get what you really want to do is be able to get, especially Mebane in space. Get him out there in the open field, because I tell you, Wimberley, we saw last week, they didn't have anybody could chase him down.
No.
Yeah.
So you gotta find a way to do that different ways, but really spreading the field. Maybe some pitches, screens. We talked about.
And that's the thing. You can't just put him on a go route or 9 route and send him down the field. Yeah, he'll get behind people, But if you could get them out there in space on just a short screens, tunnel screens, whatever you can do to get him the ball in space, that's really what you don't have to get them, way down deep, and behind the defense, because those in percentage-wise, those passes are hard to make, and to complete. But these that are 10 yards, 15 yards or less, you have a good chance of making those.
Yeah, just get the ball in your best weapon's hands.
Right,
That's
exactly.
What it's all about.
All right, Scott. Well, we got a kind of abbreviated halftime, so we'll let you go, and we'll see your article in the Seguin Gazette this Sunday, and so we look forward to that as always. And thanks for being the statistician and giving us all the information you do.
All right, you bet. Thank you.
All right.
All right, so let me pull up. I got a couple of announcements here. I've got actually several here.
Okay.
First of all, let's go over a couple of donations. We got some donations that have come in over the past couple weeks, including tonight. We've got one here from Corey Scholke of $100.
Awesome. Thank you.
Karen Roberson for $15. Jason Bazzino for $21. Darlene Monk for $50.
Wow. Awesome.
Elin Lenz the second for $21, and Jordan Guerrero for $20. So thank you so much for those donations here to the AV Club. Such a special thing that we've started here that we're really proud of, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much for those.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was going to say one last thing about the Auto Visual Club, that if there's still individuals that are interested, please make sure they talk to Mr. Scarborough, and they can talk to Mr. Scarborough about if there's the availability to get more people involved in the Audiovisual Club and how to do that. And Mr. Scarborough, the principal there at Navarro, can get them started in the right direction and all.
So let's go over some sub-varsity scores from last night.
Awesome.
Last night, 8th grade A team beat Nixon on the road 14-8. And 7th grade also won 30-6 in Nixon as well. And then we had a combined score, a combined team, not a combined score, a combined team between the freshmen and the JV last night. They actually went over to the Unicorn Stadium and played at New Braunfels and beat up on the Unicorns 33-22.
Oh, awesome!
So
awesome.
it
Good
looked
job,
like,
congratulations!
Yeah, great job. That was the JV B team for the Unicorns. But hey, listen, we're a little 4A school, right?
They're a 6A,
yeah,
right?
they're big. They're big bad 6A. And,
they're at least 10 times our size.
At least. So hey, we'll take that all day and all night. So.
That's right.
So good job, Panthers. Good job, sub-varsity. And then, the other thing I wanted to talk about, Hank, is Tuesday night we are going to be in Seguin to call the Lady Panthers in the bi-district playoff game against our big foe, the Lavernia Bears.
The farmer district foe, and now we're playing the first round, right?
Yeah.
So, but I have to give a little caveat to that. They're pending the final approval from the UIL because they always for the broadcast.
Oh, yes.
So we're pending that.
Yes.
But
sorry, yes. But
that being said, though, we have all intentions to be there and get this thing broadcast.
That's right. And, hey, even if we're not able to go and we're not there,
it's right down the road.
Yeah, please go down to Seguin High School. I think it's at 6 p.m. Yep. And let's cheer on our Lady Panthers there.
Right. Let's pack the house.
Right.
This broadcast should be just supplemental to that because we want to make sure those people that are out of town, out of state, out of the country, we want them to give them an opportunity. But if you're right there, please come down.
Right. That's right. And, you mentioned that, Hank, also when we started this, the UIL looks at this as being supplemental.
Right.
They don't look at this as, hey, stay on your couch and stay at home.
Exactly.
Because they do have the power to kill these broadcasts. So, hey, come out, watch the Lady Panthers against our big rivals there, the Lavernia Bears in Seguin.
Yep.
And should be fun. Tuesday night, 6 p.m.
Oh, yeah, that ought to be great. And then remember, as Mr. Todd said in his interview that the band's going to be tomorrow, just afternoon, I believe, and in Corpus. So make sure if you're there, make some noise for the band.
Absolutely. So
they have a chance. If they get in that top 6, as Mr. Todd says, they have a chance to go to state.
And how many bands are competing?
I believe he said it was 32.
Okay. So top 6. All right.
Top 6. So
all right.
That's all they need to do.
Okay.
And if we get that, and then, we definitely want everybody to be at the state competition, and we'll definitely try to be there and see what we can do to broadcast that.
That's right. So here come the Panthers here, coming out for the second half.
Woo.
And it looks like the Polar Bears will be receiving the ball here in the second half. And the winds have picked up a little bit again here.
As you talked about earlier, they laid down a little bit.
They laid down, yeah.
And then now, boom, right when the tunnel comes up and about to blow the tunnel away.
And that may be since it looks like a lot of the cloud cover starting to. We've still got the crescent moon out here tonight. And
look at that! I mean, I'm looking at a view of the crescent moon, and then a plane coming right across the that moon right now.
Yeah. So great atmosphere here tonight. We've got football weather here tonight.
Yeah.
So no complaints here from the Panthers side, right? 53-0, taking care of business. We've seen a little bit of a wrinkle in the offense, which has been fun, right?
No mistakes with the ball. The ball hadn't hit the ground.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no mistakes. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're playing against Air or another team, but I mean, we've been mistake-free and forced a couple turnovers, and so all is good here in Panther world here in Austin, Texas, and we're holding our streak in Travis County.
7-0, if we can get that done.
So lined up to kick off here, looks like it's going to be Landon Taylor. And the Panthers do have the wind a little bit here at their back here in the third quarter. And it's actually tipped, and he will probably just kneel it in the end zone, and he does.
Yeah, they'll take it out to the 25. A lot of people think that if you touch it and it goes back past the goal line, that now it's a free ball. But as long as you never have possession of the ball, and it goes past that goal line, it's still a touchback. So
right. So they will take over at their own 25, 1st and 10 there for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, now I'm starting to get a little chilly.
And I still see a bunch of, getting a little bit chillier here. The wind is picked up. It's not super cold, but the wind, just like anything else, the wind chill is what's killing it.
Yeah.
But it looks like we still have a lot of the Panther defensive starters
I
in
think
there.
It looks like the starting defense for the most part.
And we are playing press coverage again. Corners are up. And they're and they wrangle down Aguilar. And let's see that looks like Landon Taylor is in there quick.
Yeah.
And he's going to lose, 5 yards?
Oh, yeah. And I was watching Hyman, wearing number 74 tonight, come off that right side, and he took the running back out completely and tackled him, making sure that if he had the ball, he was going down. And so it was a great job by assignment defense there.
So, again, we've got second and about 15. Trips to the far side, one receiver to the near side, shotgun formation. And the back lines up to the right of the quarterback. He's back. He's going to run right. He's got all kinds. Jaden Gomez misses the tackle. He throws it deep. It looks like, and this Landry Blackburn is going to pick that off.
Yeah.
And it looks like the receiver might have gotten behind him, but the pass was a little short. And Landry grabs it, so the Panthers will take over right about the 50-yard line. Happened right here in front of us.
Right in front of us, and that was either now I guess we would say that would have been was that his second?
That's his second interception tonight, yes.
I would have said, I was thinking one would have been his third, but that's wrong because I was thinking that the one touchdown that was called back still was an interception. So he did have one where there was a legal block that took place that brought it back.
So they've got the ball there at their own 48-yard line. Bryce, again, pistol formation. He pitches it to Mabane. Mabane's got some trouble. He stiff arms, though, and makes some moves. And he fights. And he's upset. But I tell you, man, he was fighting some people off there.
I think the turf monster at the end got him, but he was able to do a couple of jump cuts in there and made a big move that actually almost got him free.
Yeah, but he ends up losing quite a few yards there. It looks like about 7 yards. So 2nd and 17. Bryce is gonna roll. He's gonna throw it. It looks like he's gonna throw it up. That's Blackburn. He does catch it, and he fights it off. And he's in for a touchdown. So that's, I don't know how far that was, but it was 50-plus yards.
Because the loss on that play before was 11 yards.
Yeah, 7 yards.
Oh,
so
7 yards.
So that was back at the 41, so that would be a 59-yard touchdown pass from Nall to Blackburn. And it does look like we are going to have another kicker. It looks like Landry Blackburn's going to attempt to kick this one.
We got flags.
And we have flags, and it looks like it was up and good.
If it's defense, I'm sure the Panthers will decline it, and that's what it looks like the case will be. And so, yeah, offsides defense, and the Panthers will decline that.
So that's gonna count, and that should bring it up to 60-0 here. And we do have a running clock.
Yeah, even through the touchdowns.
Even through the touchdown.
They're running it right now, and that has to be done by the consent of the coaches. They don't just decide to, somebody up there say, well, we're just going to have a running clock. Both coaches have to agree to it, and which they have.
So that was a nice pass play, though, from Bryce Nall. I think that's the longest pass play of the year.
That might be.
Yeah.
That might be.
But
59 yards in the air, and the ball didn't come out quite, as a pretty spiral, but it got where it needed to be, and good catch by Blackburn.
So that's Hyman. He does kick it in the gap. It is picked up. But I think he called. They do blow. He did call a fair catch. Yes.
Yeah.
So
the entire team basically called fair catch. Everybody was waving their arms, and once you call it, even if it hits the ground, you can't. We saw that last week.
That's right.
You can't advance it.
Yeah. So 7 minutes left here in the third quarter. Panthers up 60-0. Back on defense, and the Polar Bears will have it at about their. Looks like 10. Yeah.
Yeah, just short of 10, maybe at the 9.
It might be the 9, but we'll say 10-yard line.
Yeah.
Sorry, again, we're about 10 rows up here in the stands, and we keep climbing up as high as we can get, just because of the angles more than anything. But again, the same formation for the most part for the Polar Bears. Trips to the near side, and then.
Going to be a legal substitution that's going to be called here against the Polar Bears as they break with more than 11 out of the huddle. So that's what's being called. The Panthers, I believe, are declining it, which I would. At this point in the game, being up 60-0 in the third quarter with a running clock.
So shotgun formation, it's still 1st and 10 there for the Polar Bears. It looks like we have a new, and he fakes it, and he runs out here to the left side. He gets outside. He's got some room. It looks like Colton Schulke's going to ride him out of bounds. And
I think
it was a nice little run there for Aguilar.
And I think he when they went to that sideline, because they haven't been out there, I mean, remember, it rained earlier. And Schulke, I think, was grabbing onto the player just because he was already slipping.
Yeah. So he does pick up, actually, it looks like 2 yards, so it'll bring up 2nd and 8 here for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, for their yardage in the first half was a total, I believe, what was it, a negative 15 or so combined, passing and.
Right about, yes.
Yeah, right close to that.
So they throw it this side. It looks like, I tell you what, it looks like Knox Galini got out there and from, I'm not sure if he was at the defensive end or if he was just.
Was he playing outside linebacker?
Yeah, or linebacker.
Sure.
Yeah, and they floated the pass out, and Galini got under it, but couldn't quite bring it in.
Yeah, and he had to fight off the offensive player, the receiver, as well. And so, yeah, I think he was playing the that outside linebacker position out there. Or it's almost like one of those, players that could play both. Play a defense. You could call it a defensive back. You could call it, a linebacker. But it's almost the old days we call those guys utility players,
right?
Where you could put them just about anywhere.
Yeah, wear a couple caps,
Yep.
Utility guys. So he throws it deep this time. He floats it up. And it looks like Schulke's going to grab this one out of the air, and he's going to run it, and he's trying to direct traffic to get around the right side, but we've got another flag, and looks like it's going to be very similar to the last interception. And
that flag was thrown from way back, too.
Yeah, the back judge, right. And Gavassos, our coach, is kind of shaking his hands up in the air, but you're asking what,
And I think it's very hard for both the officials and coaches in these type of games because you're trying to, you're trying to do it fair, but coaches still want you to be physical.
Right.
This is still football. This is still a collision sport, and so sometimes that's frustrating to coaches because we want you to still play. You can't just lay down on the field.
Correct.
And then the officials are trying to keep it to where you're not overzealous in situations that are outside the bounds of the rules, and so it's a happy medium somewhere.
So Schulke does return it inside the 5, but the penalty looks like a block in the back is gonna bring it all the way back out to about the 35-yard line of the Polar Bears. So the return, for the most part, is nullified.
All right. And we're still here in the third quarter, 2:24 remaining, so they actually have stopped the clock for this.
And it looks like we do have an injured player. Right? Yeah.
For the injured player. And so they have stopped the clock for that. And while the Panthers' offense is getting back out on the field. So I was trying to get some updates here.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Marion, I have showing that Marion is up on San Antonio Coles still, but it's 28-14 in the third quarter. Wagner is starting to pull away from Seguin, 41-21. So the young man's up on his feet, and he's got on his own accord from the Polar Bears. So we wish him the best and hope that everything's going to be all right for him. The Gerald Cougars are up 40-0 over Manor New Tech, and I haven't been able to get any further updates on it because it stopped at close to halftime, and I haven't been able to get any other updates on that. And I still show that Wimberley and Lago Vista are at halftime unless you have something else.
No, I've got that at halftime. I've got the Bishop Badgers up 18-12 over Raymondville.
Huh.
So that's
to me, that's a little surprising coming up from a 3A to a 4A and being able to compete that well.
So Schulke's in at quarterback. He's going to keep it, and he's running, and he's free, and he's going to walk in, folks.
Yeah.
So nice run there by Colton Schulke. He just runs straight up the middle. I'm not sure he was touched for the first 20 yards.
And that was really more like a follow, but they made it like an RPO where you fake it to that up back Cohen Blunt and then and pull it and then just follow right behind him. Because I don't even know if the Polar Bears saw the ball in that particular case because Schulke did a good job at hiding the ball.
Right, and Schulke's not a short cat either.
No, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying that was good. That's even better.
Right.
A big guy like that hiding the ball. So
right behind Bowen. Now here's Blackburn with the extra point.
Yeah. So he
Oh,
kicks
nice.
it. And
looks good. Yes.
And so, yeah, he brings his soccer skills into football here. And
all right. Well, he's a soccer player too. That's awesome.
So he 67-0 here for the Panthers. So here in the third quarter, we've got 108 and counting here in the third.
Yeah, and the clock does continue to run with, like you said, right now it's less than a minute here in the third quarter. And still trying to get updates on that Wembley game. I guess they're taking that the full halftime on that one. So
yeah.
So we'll get some updates, but we'll finish this game well before that game finishes. So, but again, we want to say many thanks to all those people that have donated to the Audiovisual Club, and you had mentioned some earlier that had, and so we really thank everybody for doing that. And so we'll continue at later times. We'll continue to bring up the QR code for the donations when we can. Panthers.
Panthers set to kick off here for the third time,
and
in the half, and so it looks like they're just going to wait for the quarter to expire. The clock is ticking here, and that's going to be the end of the third quarter here with the Panthers up.
As we get a shot of the cheerleaders, that's pretty cool. And the cheerleaders, and I want to talk to people about how close the sideline is to the stands. So that's one of the reasons you don't see the cheerleaders actually out there on the field, because of the close proximity to the field it is. It would be actually, probably a liability if they're on the sideline when the plays are going on. So I just felt like I had to explain that. Why are they in the stands, right?
Right.
Yeah. But it is. I mean, it reminds me a little bit like Honda's stadium.
Right.
Where there's no track around it.
Right. So we kick off. That Hyman, he puts it in the gap nicely there. And he's doing a great job of kicking into the gaps tonight.
I thought so.
So
I think so. I just don't like it down the middle of the field against a good team like that.
No, right, correct. Yeah, you can't do that against a good returner. But the Polar Bears will set up shop there about their own 15-yard line, it looks like. 1st and 10.
Did we ever talk about that we have a trivial question out there, and I guess do we have a moderator? I'm talking to Javi, kind of like, to see if we have somebody that can see if they can give us the name of the other school in Texas that has the name of Polar Bears as their nickname. There is another high school, and so we're wondering if they could type in the chat area for the on the YouTube that we're presenting this on, and the area for chats. And if you know the answer, we'd like to see if you could put that in there, just for funsies.
Yeah.
To see if you know who the other Polar Bears. And try not to use your phone and ask your phone. See if we know, somebody actually knows.
Yeah, the Texas town. It's and they throw. Oh, it's deflected. So the pass is thrown here to the right side. It looked like he was trying to hit a slant, and it was deflected up by the Panthers and knocked down. So that's incomplete here with 10:30 left here in the fourth quarter. Panthers up 67-0 here on the Tundra.
Yeah, the Tundra. Yeah, and Mr. Scarborough was the one that says, "Hey, why don't you try that as a trivial question?" And I was like, "Yeah, we'll try it." So I thought this would be the perfect time to throw that in there.
Sure. Yeah, if we could do callers or something,
Let's see.
Give away a free taco or something. So he throws it out, and the ball's deflected there, and a nice play by the defensive end. Cohen Blunt actually knocks the ball loose. And the ball was intended there to number 10, Gerardo Nurez for the Polar Bears. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 10 after that incomplete pass. And it looks like the Panthers have put in their entire, well, for the most part, their entire second-string defense for the night. So it looks like the starters are done.
So if you get that answer right, we're going to announce your name on the show here on the broadcast.
So shotgun, he rolls right. He looks like he gets loose, but Gabriel Rangel comes up and does a nice job, as always, tackling low, and gets him for Minimal gain. That's going to bring up 4th down for the Polar Bears.
Big Cohen Blunt just kind of falls on top. I was like, poor kid. It wasn't like a piling on. He fell on him with his back coming on him. So I was like, that's a big boy to be falling on. So he was rumbling today earlier on that big, long touchdown scamper.
So we've got a couple of new players in there. Malcolm Turner, number 45 there for the Panthers. He's a junior. And it looks like number 71 rushing the punt. And the punt gets up. We don't put anyone back. It takes a Polar Bear roll inside Panther territory. Inside their own 45. Looks like about the 44-yard line. The Panthers will take over.
Yeah, and you're right. And, you got several new players, and that's great because we'd like to see, anytime you get game, no matter what the level of competition, getting out there to play is a big deal. So I'd like to see that now. It looks like Schulke is going to be the quarterback for the Panthers.
So the Panthers will take over at their own 43, as looks like is where they mark it. And we got Caleb Garcia in, Schulke at quarterback, Garcia at running back, and an entire new offensive line.
It's like I even saw a 70.
There's a 72, Brandon Phelps.
Yeah.
And number 74, Craig Hyman. I think Caleb Hagan is also in there. You've got Ross Strickland, it looks like, in there on the line, a senior.
Yeah, so you got a good new. I mean, even though you look at them, good-sized kids and everything that it's in there. So.
And I think that was a timeout. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was a timeout by the Polar Bears.
The Polar Bears took a timeout, right? Because the clock is stopped.
Right.
Which I know we've had a rolling clock tonight. So.
They were trying to get some of their other players in there.
So you've got number 37, Mason Harvey. You've got number 82, Colton Breitenkamp.
Got Walker Dietz out there.
Walker Dietz. So, and he hands it, fakes it. And Caleb Garcia is out here, and he is loose.
He's moving.
And he is fast Panther. And he's around the corner for an easy Panther touchdown.
Is that a 57-yarder? Wow.
Yeah, 57-yard run. And I tell you what, Caleb Garcia's got some speed to him.
And what I liked about it is the deception that was used, not only in the backfield, but everything else with Schulke and everything carrying out his fakes, but the line on the down blocking side, because once you make those fakes to the other side, the whole line and linebackers went in that direction.
So the kick is up, and it is good by the Panthers, and that makes it 74.
That was Blackburn again.
Yeah, Blackburn. Looks like they're trying. It looks like Landon Taylor's going to kick in the first half, and Blackburn looks like he's kicking here in the second half.
Well, what I like about it is that he seems to be a little more consistent on it, So 74-0 the score, as you see on the screen, and it's not by, that you see – the starter staying in the entire time or anything. I mean, there's backups in there and everything else. But what I was getting at that long play there on that 57-yard run, the offensive line on the right side basically just caved in, and they went with the momentum of the Polar Bears went with the momentum of the fakes, and the offensive line carried that momentum of those players down the line and created a wall that there was nobody on the outside, as you probably saw, because it was coming right at the camera. So that was a great view we got.
No, excellent blocking. But I think you said it best, the deception.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that
was the most impressive also about that play. So.
Yeah, and you can only do that in those type of plays behind the line if your line is blocking, and because they do take a little bit of time to develop. That's the drawback of it. So. Now,
it looks like Landon Taylor's gonna kick here, and they're kicking against the wind, and it kind of dies there. And I tell you what, number 9 grabs it, runs backwards, but again, I think he called a fair catch.
Yeah, even if he doesn't, if you watch, even in the back area, the other returners are waving their arms, and
So that was Connor Stock, and he had some momentum, but he was running the wrong way. So,
but
what
I watched with the polar bears, there's 2 or 3 of them waving their arms for the fair catch, across the field. So as we talked about earlier, anybody can call it as long as they're on the field.
So the polar bears will take control here, and they'll start their drive at their own, looks like 33-yard line.
Yeah, one of the defensive tackles, Cade Pugh, is back in. He was in earlier. We saw now he's one of the defensive tackles along with Strickland. So got some cleaner jerseys out there.
Right.
Xavier Cropper playing the
corner over here. And then number 72, Brandon Phelps. He's actually, you don't see a 72 covering a slot receiver, but he is tonight. So he throws it. Got some, and again, number 10 grabs it, but the Panthers get him there. And after that was a nice gain. It might be the biggest gain of the night there.
Yeah, I think so.
So completed pass.
It's going to bring up 2nd and 4 or so.
To number 10, Nunez. And so, so that was, about a 7-yard gain? 7-yard gain. It's going to bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, it's like, so player of the night is going to be really tough for me. It's a player of the game. I say player of the night because, there's a bunch we can choose from to this night.
So 3:18 left here. Back to pass. He does throw it deep. And it looks like he's got a receiver. And it was almost a great catch there by number 0, Meneas, for the polar bears. But Cropper, it looks like, came in and pulls his arms down.
Well, Ross Strickland laid a lick on Aguilar as he threw that one and went down on pretty hard. But Aguilar pops back up, and so and the throw was actually, not too bad. It was just a good breakup by Rangel to make sure he didn't catch it because he got his hand inside there, as you saw, and just helped rake that ball out.
So corner on this side this time is Caleb Garcia. So he's playing corner now, and our safeties are Rangel and it looks like Walker Dietz. So let's see what happens. 3rd and about 4.5 for the polar bears, and he's back to pass, and he is going to throw it. He lobs it up, but it's going to be out of bounds, so that's going to bring up 4th down. Good coverage there by the Panthers.
And we have
you had Rangel, you had Garcia.
But the freshman
Hyman
in there is now Mason Harvey.
Mason Harvey, Coach Harvey's son,
he's in there now, number 37. That's playing one of the defensive backs.
Defensive end, I think he is. He's
37. Yeah, he was playing on the.
He's playing
the
a slot receiver. Okay,
yeah,
there
you call him a linebacker too.
True. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm used to seeing him at defensive end, but on the freshman team. But so a minute 28 and counting. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. Aguilar. He's back to pass. He's got some pressure. He dumps it off to number 6. And he's going to have a 1st down.
Now their first down of the evening.
Yeah, the first down. Number 6 there is Juan Lopez, the starting running back, and he just dumps it out to Lopez, who gets nice positive yardage out to about the 50-yard line.
Yeah,
for the Polar.
I was afraid, when he first tossed it out there, literally that's what Aguilar did, is tossed it out. And I didn't know if he was going to reach the running back at that point.
Yeah, it was. But Lopez did a nice job of coming up, grabbing it, and then turning and getting positive yards.
So now you got I'm looking who's out there, and Caleb Hagan, number 60, is out there on the defensive end.
So it looks like he kneeled it.
Yeah, he did. I was like, after they got their first down in the evening with 31 seconds left here and counting down. We're going to end this thing here rather quickly.
Yeah, it looks like he kneeled it down, and that's going to be the ball game here, folks. And the final score tonight looks like it's going to be the Panthers 74 and the
Austin
Achieved Polar Bears 0.
So I wonder, did we ever get the correct answer on what other one? No? Okay, well.
Okay, never got it. Huh?
Right, but I will give you the answer after we come back. So we're going to go and show our Diamond sponsors, get our player of the game, and we'll be getting out of here pretty quick tonight. So you're watching Panther football on the Navarro Panther Network, powered by the Panther Posse.
All right, we're back here at the Tundra here in Austin, Texas, at Austin Achieve. And so we're going to give our player of the game out tonight. And Hank, I'm going to let you do the honors.
I mean, we looked over the stats real quick, or we looked over, the performances tonight. I mean, a whole number of people from, Bryce Null to Rangel to, Cropper. But tonight we take Mr. Landry Blackburn as the player of the game tonight for the Panther Posse. And he scored 2 touchdowns and had 2 interceptions. Would have had 3 touchdowns had one not been called back.
Right.
But he still got the interception. So on both sides of the ball, we see Landry Blackburn being able to make big plays tonight, and we call him our Panther Posse player of the game. So congratulations, Dad. He's got a player of the game. But, I mean, it wasn't just based on the fact that, it's Austin Achieve or what have you. I always look at, like we talked about, is that, you don't look at the opponent. You look at what the player did. And,
right.
And I thought he did a good job. And he also got, we didn't even talk about, he got the second half extra points, and I think he made, most of those. I don't remember him even missing one,
I don't
actually.
think he missed one. But,
and so he got the extra points tonight as the kicker. So great job. And so all that combined, he scored 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and then the extra points that he made as well. So we're not going to have our final stats of the game. They'll have to check out the Sunday Gazette.
Yeah, there you go.
Scott Kibbe will have it there as well. And so you can look at those on Sunday as well. And so if you enjoyed the broadcast, make sure to say something in the little chat area. And I promised everybody I'd at least give the other high school that uses, here in Texas, that uses the mascot of Polar Bears, and that is the Frost Polar Bears. Can you believe that? What a name. Frost, and then you use Polar Bears. I mean, those two go hand in hand.
That's almost a gimme, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a slam dunk. Yeah, Frost out in West Texas. So.
That's right. So, Lance, you could just take us home. I've enjoyed the night, and the Panthers did a great job, and you did a great job as usual. Thanks to Javier and Marina and Rick and Clay getting everything else done, and to all our students that have helped out as well. And so I'd like to thank all them first. So, but
absolutely,
Lance, take it away.
So we'll finish the night here. Your Panthers, Navarro Panthers, win 74-0 over the Austin Achieve Polar Bears. So we're going to say next week we will see you at back in Irwin Lee Field, back at home, and we'll be taking on Maynard New Tech Titans. And so hope to see you all out there, but we're going to say good night here from the tundra here at the home of the polar bears in Austin, Texas. So God bless, and everyone have a great night.